This is the program that shows you the side of police chase videos they didn't want you to see. Bungled arrests, kamikaze crooks and cop-based carnage of all kinds. Welcome to Cops Uncut, the real car crash TV.
On my way.
Coming up on Cops Uncut. A depressed driver tries to poleaxe a phone pole. This biker gets bullied from behind. And this moronic motorist crosses the line.
Taking off again.
Here in Tavares, Florida, Deputy Lee Cheshire is chasing down an old friend. 5 years ago, Cheshire was involved in a shootout with the man up ahead driving a black pickup.
The helicopter's on him.
Since then, this crook doesn't appear to have learned the error of his ways. If anything, he's become more volatile.
Who's right at the intersection? He's weaving in and out of traffic, coming to the intersection.
He's just come from a family get-together where, first of all, he threatened to kill himself, then threatened to kill everyone else. So it's looking like it could be a case of déjà vu for Deputy Cheshire. Cheshire's colleagues have been lying in wait with a stinger which succeeds in slowing down suicidal Sid to a more manageable speed. But now he's decided on a game of chicken and bounces over the central reservation into the path of oncoming traffic, where Cheshire is understandably reluctant to follow. Somewhat rattled from his little off-road excursion, Cheshire hallucinates that the red truck pulling over to his right is his surrendering suspect. No such luck. Could it be that he's beginning to let this personal battle cloud his professional judgment? A few hundred yards down the road, a second stinger is at the ready, and he's so keen to stay on the tail of his nemesis that he almost drives over it himself. Now that most of his tyres have blown, the suspect decides that he simply can't build up enough speed to warrant staying on the freeway and crawls down the slip road. The end is nigh for this self-destructive driver and is looking to go out with a bang. Right on cue, a couple of Hell's Angels even pull over to let him past. So should he plough into a parked car or ram raid a restaurant? In the end, he decides that the quickest way to make a call to the big guy is to wrap himself round a telegraph pole. The rest of the Tavares Police Department are on the scene moments later, where his truck has been truncated to the size of a Mini. Although surely they should be brandishing first aid kits instead of guns. This forlorn felon wanted to say goodbye, cruel world. But his soul was saved by an airbag, and he was soon saying hello to the local A&E, where he's being treated for a punctured lung and some broken ribs. Still to come in part 1. This robber on the run has gone to the dogs. And this suspect makes an obscene phone call.
Taking off again.
In Ferndale, Michigan, someone has just stolen a motorcycle enthusiast's Harley Davidson, and one observant cop is on hand to spot the hijacked hog. With an accomplice, this Easy Rider followed the owner to his apartment, forced him to hand over the keys at gunpoint, and rode off on his pride and joy. But he's now being followed by an officer who'll let nothing stand in his way when it comes to apprehending a suspect. With a crafty U-turn and then a sharp right, the biker tries to outmaneuver his pursuer. But this cop isn't going to let him get away that easily, and he's got an inventive tactic up his sleeve for bringing things to an end. The pit maneuver is all very well, but trying it out on a motorcycle seems a little unfair. And in a battle between four wheels and two, it's pretty obvious who's going to come off worse. Coming up to a red light, the cop has his first near miss, and the Harley accelerates away just in time. It's not long before he gets another bite at the cherry, though. And this time the hijacker has an anxious glance over his shoulder as the patrol car bears down on his backside. Now he's got his eye in, it's time to make contact. Perhaps we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this occasion, but the next time he goes bumper to bumper, it's beginning to look even more like a deliberate move. In a detailed report, the cop later claimed that it was all just an accident. So let's see what he had to say about what happened next, and I quote, "I continued to slow down by applying my brakes. He then suddenly applied the brakes quickly and attempted a hard stop. I also attempted a hard brake from my gradual braking, but was unable to stop." We'll let the viewers of Cops Uncut be the judge of that. As the Harley heads off on its own, the officer can't quite believe that his suspect is still standing. He won't get far on foot though, and just around the corner it's time for this mild-mannered cop to show his true colours.
Put down the ground! Get on the ground! Okay, don't move! Don't move! Put your hands behind you!
Now that he's finally got him in custody, he's equally unconventional when it comes to reading the guy his rights.
I will kill you, do you understand that?
I think by now he's probably got the message. It's time to take to the skies with the Brevard County Copter Cops and their trusty night vision camera.
Passenger doors open. They're gonna be belling here in a second.
They're providing air support for a chase involving some suspected armed robbers who are looking to split up. But this guy isn't really agile enough to jump from a moving vehicle and is soon sprawled on the tarmac.
Passengers out, keep going, guys.
So it's one down, one to go, as the remaining suspect attempts to evade the cops by going round in circles. Viewers prone to travel sickness may wish to look away now, as this cameraman has his work cut out trying to keep up with the action. After a whistle-stop tour of this housing estate, the driver too decides it's time to get some exercise and leaves his car to fend for itself. He may not have a future in crime, but when he's a free man again, this Speedy Gonzales might want to try out for the Olympic sprint team. That is, once he's sorted out a few technical shortcomings.
He just fell down, right?
Time to call in the K9 team, who are lurking just round the corner. And once the police pooch has got his teeth into the situation, it's all over bar the shouting. It wasn't me, Gov. Time for another suspect who likes to make a habit of being economical with the truth.
Put the car off. Shut the car off. You're doing 63 and a 40. That's why I stopped you. Then when I flip on you, you start pulling all these quick turns and stuff. How much you had to drink? None. Nothing at all? Yeah. A little bit? Yeah, I could tell that.
First, he's trying to pretend that he hasn't been drinking. Then it turns out that even if he was sober, he shouldn't have been driving at all.
Out of line.
Okay, he's my driver. Is he valid?
Negative. Suspended. Like it's license forfeiture, non-compliant.
You don't have a license, man? Yeah, I do. Why? He's suspended. Oh, you're kidding me. No.
I'm pretty sure it's him who's kidding the police and not the other way around. Back at the cop shop.
Man, you got all kinds of warrants. You got 2 from Huron County. You got 6 from Willard for DUIs. OL, CCW. You have 19 open suspensions.
It could be the alcohol, or it could be that he's had a bump on the head, but the extent of this man's amnesia is truly awe-inspiring.
You're charging me with another felony DUI. Did I get a DUI without standing there? Hey, you have a good life, all right?
He's going to need a very good lawyer indeed to get him out of this mess, but the one he calls appears to be asking for too much money, so he decides to put his foot down.
You shoot me! Get it up! I got a heart problem! Get down! Get it up! Shoot me!
Sit down.
Shoot it!
Sit down or you get taken.
Shoot it!
Sit down.
In an effort to restrain their suspect, the cops pull out the pepper spray.
Can't stop you! Oh man, good. Here we go!
Sit down or sit.
Okay. Okay, you're right.
I know, man. I tried to tell you.
This guy isn't just addicted to lying, he's even addicted to mace.
Well, that's just raw. That's very good.
It's Dustbin Day in Georgetown, Texas, and in between running from the cops, the aptly named Seneca Johnson is using his people carrier to drop a friend off. So long as he doesn't mind having the police on his tail, and so long as he can cope with the fact that the car isn't really going to stop, this guy is welcome to a ride anytime. See you later, buddy, and remember, keep your mouth shut. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, trying to outrun a patrol car. The trouble is, sneaking around the leafy suburbs isn't much use for a getaway because you can't build up enough speed, and after a while, everything begins to look exactly the same. Things aren't made any easier when your passenger has forgotten to shut the door properly. In fact, this chase is getting so frustrating for Johnson that he's thinking of abandoning his wheels altogether. Perhaps not here, though. Johnson wants to put some distance between himself and the cops, but he's now thoroughly lost, and there's no way of telling whether he's seen these wheelie bins before or not. By now desperate for a way out, his next turn takes him down a dead-end street. Time to admit defeat and take to his feet, although this cop has got other plans for Johnson. He doesn't lose his head, but he does lose his shoes. And isn't it interesting how cops are always so much more well-fed than their suspects? Sneakerless Seneca was apprehended nearby and found to be in possession of cocaine and PCP. The police had a sneaking suspicion about this shoeless Joe, and he's now got 40 years to build his field of dreams in the grounds of the local penitentiary.
Taking off again.
Now we're up north in Anchorage, Alaska, where a passenger didn't just jump his fare, he actually jumped the taxi driver. The cabbie manages to escape with his life and his car keys, but his passenger is refusing to budge. And he's got some pyrotechnics planned to keep the cops at bay. Although where he managed to find a flamethrower out here in the middle of nowhere is anyone's guess. As the siege continues, the decision is made to call in a SWAT team to try and smoke him out. We can just about see them here. But he doesn't know what's going on until a tear gas canister comes flying through the back window. It's difficult to look threatening when your nose is running and you're crying like a girl, so the SWAT team soon have their man. Once he'd been driven round the houses, this psychopathic punter ended up going round the bend. But if you can't afford to pay the fare, then it's got to be a fair cop.
Taking off again.
Still to come in part 2. This young gun smiles for the camera, and this car comes off second best in an argument with a truck. There's something about seeing a police car that makes some drivers skittish. They get all self-conscious and stop paying attention to what's going on around them. In fact, I'd be willing to bet money that the accident rate actually increases when the cops are around. If you're on patrol, be aware that the people around you are liable to get spooked, and although we can't see who the culprit is on this occasion, we get a pretty good view of what happens next. So, if you stay alert while everyone around you is panicking, if you brake and swerve at the right time, then you should be able to steer a path through the wreckage. Class dismissed.
Taking off again.
If it wasn't already dingy enough out here, the driver up ahead has decided to use the force and keep these cops on the dark side.
They just went blacked out on me. 8, they're blacked out, no lights.
Either he's wearing night vision goggles or has been eating one hell of a lot of carrots, because at 120 miles an hour and with no headlights, it's pretty difficult to follow the white lines.
See, also, call Sal and see if he's still got his spikes. If he does, tell him to get out there at the interstate. Oh, we're about 100 mile an hour now. Slow down to 100. He's pretty leisure. He's smoking a joint or a cigarette, one of the two.
Perhaps he's using the orange glow as a navigational aid, but I'm thinking this suspect's cigarettes are on the funny side. With their speed down to a modest 100 miles an hour, the cops can pull alongside and take a look at who they've been chasing.
2 juveniles, 2 white male juveniles, probably 18, 19 years of age. Then I pulled upside, got a visual.
This childlike Cheech and Chong seem oblivious to what's going on around them.
Use caution.
So it's time to call in some reinforcements. Now that he's stuck between 2 cop cars, the driver straightens up, switches his lights on, and puts his foot down.
So they're in the center lane, they're just riding the white line.
And Then, up ahead in the distance, we can begin to make out yet more patrol cars parked on either side of the road, which can only mean one thing. Yes, it's time for these stoners to hit the stop sticks, and once their tyres start to shred, things are going to get a whole lot more laid back.
10-4, he's been spiked the whole right side. Those front and rear tires flat.
All the police have to do now is point their spotlights and watch the action unfold. There's just as much smoke coming from outside the car as inside, and they're burning so much rubber that before long, one front tyre decides to go walkabout. With their joint down to the roach and their wheels down to the rim, this chase has come to an end, and it's time for the cops to dish out some discipline. As our baby-faced bad boy gets to smile for the camera. These high school hopheads thought they could sneak away from the cops under cover of darkness. But once they'd said goodbye to their wheels, it was time to say goodbye to their freedom.
Taking off again.
Pay attention to this pickup in the distance. It may be rather far away at the moment, but the driver wants to get more closely acquainted with someone on our side of the freeway and decides to pop over and say hi. Now that they're both stationary, these new pals can chill out and exchange insurance details. And they won't even need to look for witnesses, because there's a patrol car on hand and he's left his dash cam running the whole time. With more slide than a children's playground, this crash may look like it hurt, but you'll be glad to know that the only serious injury was to the pickup driver's no claims bonus. So what have we learnt today on Cops Uncut? Try not to get lamped by a lamppost. Always wear a crash helmet for protection from the police. And you never know when a box of matches will come in handy. Be careful out there.